talking about this new search engine, DuckDuckGo. I mean, that didn't even sound simple. But hey, this is a search engine. They say that they will not track your movements. They're not going to track where you're going. They're not going to, you know, like look at what you're doing and stuff like that. So even if the government were to say, hey, DuckDuckGo, we want all of your information, there's nothing to have because they have nothing stored. So for people going on those, you know, questionable sites, you know who you are, going on those sites that you don't want your wife to know or you don't want your husband to know. Now, you won't be able to, there's nothing to track you. And according to these guys, they're saying they're not going to get into those discussions about surveillance and government tracking, phone calls being recorded and all of that, you know, but they did want to share this app with everyone out there. So whatever your, you know, if you're a paranoid type person or, you know, you're someone who always believes in government conspiracies and this, that, and the next thing, this might be the search engine you want to check out. Now, that isn't all that this search engine does. The second half of the story, sorry, the new story section in Android, they'll also share news with you. This DuckDuckGo share news with you based on your searches. So if you're someone that searches a lot for Miami Heat, you're searching all the time for that, they're going to bring you news stories based on the Miami Heat because that's what you're searching. You see?
How will they do that if they don't track you?
I don't know, but that's what they're saying. They didn't release that information. They're saying, because the question is, how will they do that if they don't track you? Because you have to store the information somehow so you know what my pattern is. You know, because if my pattern is I'm constantly, because I'm not going to search for the Miami Heat just all in one day. If I'm doing that over the course of a week, how would you know? Now, maybe what they're saying is your searches in a day, you know what I'm saying? But then they say they don't store it, so maybe the computer just...
No, maybe what they do is they send, so they have a database of information, right?
Right.
Of the different categories. So once you go somewhere, they categorize you and send the information out. The information comes back immediately.
Comes back immediately, it's not stored.
Yeah.
Right. And as you're searching, then it says, okay, it's going out, Miami Heat, Miami Heat, Miami Heat, and then it comes back and gives you stories. That would be the only way I can see it working, because otherwise you would have to store it. But my guess is it's not something that they're going to do over a week. It's something that as you're searching now, whatever they accumulate the data now, and then once you log out of it, the data is wiped. It doesn't stay. So it's kind of like, you know, when you're doing something on your, well, how it used to be anyway, like when you're doing something on an old calculator, if you cut it off, then it erased everything. It didn't store anything. Now you have, you know, backup memory and stuff like that. But this, yeah, the good old days when you can just do stuff, and once you shut it down, nobody knew what you were up to, but not anymore. There's always some redundant... Not even because you forget what you were doing. This is that DuckDuckGo symbol right here, and this app is in the Google Play Store. So you know what? I'm gonna have to try and download this bad boy and see, and see how it works, so you can get an official review here on Tech Pulse. So if you're wanting to be incognito online to check all type of sites and no one know, just look for this symbol in the Google Play Store. DuckDuckGo. That's a new search engine, and it's becoming very popular. People are using it.
Let me ask you this. Google has an incognito browsing feature. Do they store data from that?
From the incognito?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I don't think so. I think the bulk of their data is stored because most people don't use that feature. Matter of fact, most people don't even know it exists. You see what I'm saying? So most people don't use that. So most of Google's data farms that they have information on anyone is from their regular Google. From Google Now, stores information on you. I mean, I don't know how people can't know that, because just like Apple has Siri, and Siri, everything you say. So you know, a lot of people, when Siri first came around, they was asking Siri, what are you wearing? And you know, do you have clothes on and stuff like that? And they thought it was just a joke, but they didn't realize Apple was storing that information. All of those things were being stored. So I'm sure Google has to be doing it, because how else would they improve Google Now? How else would they improve it if they didn't store what you would say and so forth? So yeah, I'm sure that Google, they store this information when you're browsing and stuff like that DuckDuckGo. The only problem with that is they wouldn't really necessarily know how to improve it from a user standpoint other than their own internal research, because you have no user data. You have no user data to say, well, unless they'll have like some kind of inbox where you can send your complaints or something to it.
Or reverse to normal browsers, they assume you want to be tracked.
Right.
Versus DuckDuck might assume you don't want to be tracked and you have to select track.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. You have to select it so that they can, or maybe something will come up and say, do you want to be tracked? You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. We have to use this app and see exactly, you know, how it works. But it's snuck into the Google Play Store, and so you can't really say sneak because, you know, Google knows it's there. But snuck meaning that not many people know that this browser exists, that by default doesn't track your actions, doesn't track anything you do, but as you're searching, will provide you with news and different things like that based on what you're searching. So this is definitely something that you want to check into if you're interested in that type of incognito browser search. Now, speaking of incognito, according to Science Times, just as a little side note here, because this falls under tech, humans are about to become an interstellar race. Many people don't know that because back early in the days, way early, there was a launch of a satellite or a spaceship, or however you want to put it, known as Voyager 1. And Voyager 1 has been in space for a long time. I think it's about 35 years or so. They've been on the road. And Voyager, according to the Science Journal, Voyager 1 is at the very edge of our solar system and about to head into outer deep space. You know, and so on Voyager 2 is right behind it. Now, according to the reports, Voyager 1 has traveled more than 11.5 billion miles so far. It's a travel more than 11.5 billion miles. Now, that's been a long time since Voyager 1 was actually left the planet, since 1980 when it reconnected with Saturn and then whipped above the plane of the solar system, of Saturn's atmosphere, and was heading out into deep space. And now, according to the report, Voyager 1 is at the right edge, at the edge of the solar system. Now, the boundary of the solar system, just for those of you who don't know, is not defined by the last planet in the solar system. The boundary of the solar system isn't defined by that by scientific terms. The boundary of the solar system is defined by how far the sun's, how do we put it? The sun radiates energy, and how far that radiated energy reaches before it changes its composition to match interstellar matter is where the boundary of the solar system is. That's how scientists map. So you're at the end of the last planet could be here, but the sun's effects could reach here. So the solar system doesn't end with Pluto, which has been defined as not a planet anymore, but it's the farthest mass from at the edge of our solar system here. But the solar system is not defined by the edge of Pluto. It's defined by the edge where the sun's rays reach and then changes its composition to match interstellar matter. That's the edge of the solar system, and that's where Voyager 1 is right now. Now, how will the Earth be able to keep track of it? We're a deep space telemetry, sure, but we have to see how scientists can keep track of something if it goes beyond the solar system as far as information goes, because even moving at the speed of light, remember, our solar system is pretty hefty, and our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, it would take light traveling at 186,000 miles per second. Now, a lot of times people travel 60 miles an hour, and they feel they're flying down I-95, 75 miles an hour. Oh, you can't stop me. But light travels at a speed of 186,000 miles each second. So every time a second goes by, light would have traveled 186,000 miles. right? So picture that speed in your head. Now, in order for light to reach from one end of our galaxy to the next end of our galaxy, traveling at 186,000 miles a second, it would take light 100,000 years to get from one end of our galaxy to the next, traveling at that speed. It takes 100,000 years for light traveling at a speed of 186,000 miles each second. It will take light 100,000 years to get from one end of our galaxy to the next. That's just our galaxy. And there are billions of galaxies. So that right there tells you how big the universe is, just in that calculation alone. But our Neptune 1 is at the edge of our solar system. So we're about to go intergalactic. We're about to be in that intergalactic world. So I just thought that would be a good tip, information to bring to you, that scientists have said that Voyager 1 is at the outer edge of the solar system. At the outer edge. And they're about to reach interstellar space. So, it's an interesting bit of news. Now, you might say, well, this doesn't affect my day. No, it doesn't affect your day, because it's not tech as far as the tech that you're used to. But it's tech as far as just tech going on right now. Something interesting that I thought, is good dinner conversation or whatnot. Hey, did you know we're about to be an interstellar species? Yeah. We're about to launch into that stratosphere. So that's Voyager 1 going outside of Earth's solar system. Not Earth's atmosphere, but Earth's solar system. Now, coming up after the break, because, we're up against a break right now. Coming up after the break, we're talking about Android. Back to Google, and guess what? The new version of Android, we haven't heard anything about it, especially at Google I.O., their developers conference. They strangely didn't mention anything about their next operating system. But now, Google has released information saying that their next operating system, known as Key Lime Pie, now, we've had gingerbread, now and then you had ice cream sandwich, now we're on jelly bean. Their next operating system, known as Key Lime Pie, is set to hit. When is it going to come out? When are you going to have your hands on this operating system? You're going to hear about that after the break. So you got to stay tuned. We're coming right back. So, just stay right there.